Welcome back to Divorce Dads Ask. Every Wednesday, I take real questions from real dads like you in the rebuild, and I unpack them honestly. No filters, no perfect answers, just truth and tools for dads like you doing the hardest work, man. The hardest work there is. Today, I got a couple questions. The first one sounds like a scheduling problem. It's not. The second one is the question most divorced dads are asking in the dark, but probably don't say out loud. So let's dig into it. The question, this question came in from a dad in the community. He's about a year out from his divorce, 2 kids, job is stable. And he says this, Anthony, I don't know what to do with my time. At work, I'm busy. I get through the day. But when I get home, especially the nights my kids aren't there, it's a mess. I don't have a plan. I don't have a routine. I just kind of exist until I fall asleep or I get into some bad habits. How do I fix this? So let's dig into this. All right. Let's figure this out. And I'm going to tell you, I was exactly there in the same spot, especially those of you that are high performers and you got work and job and you've got a system there. That's fine. That's great. But when you get home and the rest of the day, or however you're scheduling, or maybe you have to reschedule now that you have 50-50 with your kids. And that's a new thing. It's a new feeling. So first, this is not a time management problem. I know you think it is, and many people would run to creating these perfect schedules for people. Every productivity app in the world won't fix this. This is what this guy's going through is a vision problem dressed up as a scheduling problem. I want you to hear that. This is a vision problem. It says in the scriptures, where there's a lack of vision, people cast off restraint. And that word casting off restraint is that they're lacking discipline. Discipline means you're a disciple of something. And whether it's intentional or it's by default, you are a disciple of something. Most dads are disciples by default. They are following things, doing things just out of patterns and habits and loops. A man who knows who he's becoming knows exactly how to fill his hours. There's a reason why when you read things about Elon Musk, that his day is absolutely meticulous with time. He knows what he's doing. He knows where he's going. He knows why he's doing it. And everything falls into place after that. So it's not about having no answer to the question, what am I building and why? Right? It's about understanding why you're doing what you're doing and who you're becoming. A neuroscience will say it like this in the community. Psychologists call this goal-directed behavior deficit. When the brain has no clear target, it defaults to passive consumption and avoidance. The nervous system interprets unstructured time as threat after trauma. That's where guys are living. That's what's going on. The home isn't messy because he's lazy. The home is a mess because it hasn't been given a mission yet. So I want to give you a couple things today you can take home, you can think about, and what I would be talking with this dad, which I was in our group, in our school group. And those of you that aren't in our school group, jump in. The details are below. It's free. Those of you that are looking for more of a structured system, dig. We have a Climb. It's a monthly private community with me. Those that are looking to absolutely accelerate everything in their life, full throttle, there's a few spaces left to work one-on-one with me. And there's a link below to apply to do that if we're a good fit. Let me get into these 3 things. Step 1 that you have to do is design the empty night before it arrives. Design the empty night before it arrives, because it's arriving, brothers. You know it. There is no wonder about what an empty house is like. So when you get home and silence hits, this is what we're talking about. Not the night before. Write 3 things you will do tomorrow evening. Not a full schedule, 3 anchors. One's physical, one is productive, and one is relational. A call, a text, a voice memo to your kids, something like that if you can talk to your kids. Anchors give the brain somewhere to go before the drift starts. I'll tell you how I do this in my personal life. I walk a lot. My goal is to get to 20,000 steps a day. When I walk, I make the calls to my closest friends, mentors, and coaches. Walking through that time, I'm not only moving, but I'm also relational in the movement. I want everything to be intentional. The other night, a guy was sharing some of this with me, and I said, you have time now that you don't normally have to build the business that you always wanted to build. So block that out and let that become an anchor to why the things that you were telling me, I want to do more for my kids. I want to take them here. I want to do this. I want to eliminate debt. Great. Now you have the time. The TV does not get turned on until you have these things taken care of. There's no rest and check out until you're doing the things you know you need to do. That's what these anchors do. The second thing that you got to do that's helpful is make your home feel like a builder lives there. What does your space say about who you're becoming? One corner, one wall, one visual reminds you of your vision. If there's something in your space, create around your house and your home or your apartment, whatever it is, what you are becoming, who you're becoming. Could be pictures, right? Could be places, could be things, could be stuff that you have working on. This vision is going to pull you through when the boredom comes, right? When nothing is happening. You've got to make your home feel like a builder lives there. Clean it. Get it right. Get it in order. Get it in space. Get the things that you need in place. I talked to a dad recently. I said, dude, watch what happens when you do your dishes and you put everything away and you have it clean and you have it organized. He came back to me and said, man, that was everything. My house feels so much better. When you make your home feel like that, another thing you can do is get a whiteboard with your 90-day goal, a verse on the mirror, a photo of your kids front and center. Keep these things before your eyes. It's called reticular activation system. It's pulling your eyes into the things that you want rather than allowing your eyes and your mind to go into things you don't want. Environment is not decoration. Environment is instruction. Think about it like that your home is literally writing out the instructions of your future. When you look at something, look at it and say, is this walking me down the road to the future I want? Is this thing I have in my house everything? Because if it's not, it's only going to deter you from where you want to go. I say this every time when I do turn the TV on. Is this show, is this movie, is this thing I'm watching going to take me into a better place of where I'm going, or is it not? 9 times out of 10, it is not. Therefore, it is not being turned on. What I listen to has to move me in the direction of who I want to become. I do not want it pulling me back into old times and old memories and old thoughts. No, I don't want that. So I'm meticulous about what the home is doing. Your home should be telling you who you are every time you walk in. Third, protect 2 nights a week with purpose. Not every night has got to be perfect, but 2 nights I would recommend. Start with 2 nights to be non-negotiable. One night is a physical rebuild, maybe a gym, a walk, something that moves your body. Another night is for your brotherhood, a call with an accountability partner, our school community, a mentor, a coach, a guide. These things are locked in. What am I doing? This is what I'm doing. I'm accountable to it. 2 nights with purpose becomes a rhythm. A rhythm becomes an identity. And you don't find structure. You build it one intentionally night at a time. So listen, guys, those of you listening, this is helpful so far. Any of these, drop a sub, drop a follow, give it a share. You are literally helping dads find this podcast, find light, find hope, find transformation. I know you want help, and I know you want to help other dads. It's something simple you can do. And if you have comments and questions or whatever, drop them in the comment section in Spotify. I read them all, and I'm with you here on the journey. Let's dig into question 2. This is a big one, and it is deep as it goes. So this question hit me when I read it, and we talked about it in our community, in our Climb community, which is the private one. He's been rebuilding for a few years. He's not in crisis. He's functioning. He's doing the work. And he sent me this. Said, Anthony, I don't know how to be happy. I look at my life and things are okay, but I don't feel anything. I don't feel joy. I don't feel excited about anything. Is something wrong with me? Will I ever actually feel happy again? And I want to answer this carefully because this question deserves more than just a tool. And the first thing we have to talk about is happiness. First, you have to know that nothing's wrong with you. Nothing's wrong. You're not in a mental breakdown. What you're describing has a name, and neuroscience calls this um, anhedonia. Anhedonia is the reduced ability to feel pleasure or joy. It's one of the most common and least discussed effects of prolonged stress and grief. Many of you are experiencing both of those at the same time. After divorce, the brain's reward system is literally suppressed by sustained cortisol elevation. Joy doesn't disappear, it gets buried under the weight of the rebuild. So, this is not your permanent state. This is a nervous system in recovery mode. But here's the realness of the realness. And this is important. So hold on to your seats here. Happiness is not the goal. Happiness is not the goal. Happiness is a feeling. Meaning is the goal. I want to inject this as well. If you haven't read Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, this will be an important book. It's not the most sensational book, but it's a very powerful book. Why? Because when you don't have a purpose in your life, you get distracted by everything else. Happiness is an emotion, so it comes and goes. Like I said, men who chase happiness after divorce end up emptier because happiness depends on circumstances. And your circumstances right now are hard. You don't have the things you used to have. You don't have the people you used to have. You're not going to the places you used to go to, right? It's hard. It is a new reality. Meaning, though, depends on purpose, and purpose is something that you build. The question is not when I feel happy. The question is, what am I building that matters? And joy is a byproduct, not a destination. So it shows up in the pool. For me, I'll give you an example. It shows up in the pool with your daughter at 50 degrees. When my daughter comes up to me at night, almost before bedtime, when it's cold outside and the pool is freezing cold, and she says, Dad, let's jump in the pool. Everything in me says no. Everything in me says, I'm about to go to bed. I don't want to re-shower. I don't want to get in the pool. It's dark. It's cold. No, 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 no. And I said, yes, absolutely. Let's go and do that. That was a moment, a decision I had to make to say, I'm in. And as I've been sharing that more and more, I'm hearing more and more dads saying more yeses than saying more nos. Why? Because they have meaning in what they're doing. It's not just checking it off the list. It's I'm going to impact my daughter's life. I'm going to become the greatest dad I could ever become. I'm going to become the leader I always knew was there. It shows up in another way when your client says, I've become the man I always knew. That was a byproduct for me hearing dads like you when they say, man, I became the man I always knew I was. That is absolute pandemonium for me. It is my greatest joy. When I see other people win, I get emotional. I literally, even now, I get choked up. I'm so grateful because I know what it feels like to be in those moments. It shows up in the small moments of a life being rebuilt with intention. So you don't find joy by looking for it. You find it by building something worth having. So there's three places joy hides for divorced dads: in service, in progress, and in presence. So service is the moment you stop thinking about your pain and you start helping another dad carry his. I see this in our climb group where dads are connecting with each other and they're walking with each other in this pain and in this journey, helping each other get accountable. Wow, that is joy, and it's joy for one another. You see joy in progress, not arrival, but in movement. 1% better today than yesterday. I said this before. Happiness is progress. It's being able to track your progress, which is why when I work with dads, we have to track things because it's really easy to remember the bad stuff. But we so often forget the good progress that has happened. Presence is like this: fully in the moment with your kids, phone down, eyes on them, nowhere else. Another guy in our group shared this, that he was supposed to pick his son up from school and he missed the schedule. His son was at a tennis match, and without hesitation, without frustration, without a bad attitude, he knew exactly what he needed to do. Okay, I missed it. I'm going to be at the tennis match. And he's not getting along with his son that much. But it didn't matter. He just showed up. He was present. He saw him. He said hello. He stacked a small win. Joy is not waiting for your life to get better. Joy is hiding inside the life you already have. In the moments you're too distracted, you're too anxious, you're too worried, you're too fearful, you're too caught in something that isn't yet to happen to get present. In Nehemiah is a great verse. It says that the joy of the Lord is your strength, not the joy of your circumstances, not the joy of your relationship status or your bank account status or how co-parenting went this week. The joy of the Lord, which means it's available independent of everything around you. It's not something you manufacture. It's something you receive. And you can't receive it if you're too busy white knuckling through the rebuild alone. That's joy, man. The kind that doesn't depend on your circumstances. And that's many times when I talk with dads and they tell me how they're feeling. And I ask them, do you want to allow something or someone to control how you feel? Nobody does. And I will challenge you on that today. If something or someone is causing you to feel a certain way, then you have given the power of them over your life. And nobody is worth that power except giving yourself to the Lord. So look, hear this out, hear this carefully, hear this soundly. Drifters spend their life waiting to feel happy before they start building. Builders build and discover that the joy is in the building, and you're not broken because you don't feel happy right now. You are a man in the middle of one of the hardest rebuilds there is, and you are asking the right questions. That matters. The man who asks, how do I be happy, is not a man who has given up. He's a man who still believes something better is possible. And hold on to that. Build towards it. And don't do it alone. You get to choose your happiness every day. You get to choose how you feel every day. And the key thing here, dads, is that you are the leader. Your children are going to feel your leadership. They're going to feel your happiness. They're going to feel your joy. Then, when you have yourself in alignment, vision, mission, you know where you're going, you know where your time is, you know what joy is, your children feel it. And they will learn that other things are not going to be what controls how they feel and their joy. So look, dads, if this was helpful in any way, drop a sub, drop a follow, send it to a dad who needs it. Help one other dad by doing these things. If it's a question, if it's a comment, I'd love to hear them. Drop them in there. 3 things. 1 is our school group. If you're not in there, get in there. It's free. 2 is our climb. That's our private community, closely knit, weekly action, a plan, accountability. We get through it together. There's a few, probably 1 or 2 spots to apply to work one-on-one with me. You're in business, you're a high-level guy, you know you need help, you need support daily, weekly to drive this thing to become the man you need to be. There's all 3 of those in the show notes. I love you, dads. I pray for you daily. I'll see you in the next one. God bless you.